What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more on the All the Creators server, and it is about to be a beautiful new day for a super exciting episode. And the reason that I am so excited for today's episode is because we are going to be diving into a new mod, one that I have not had the pleasure of messing around with yet, and that is going to be the Embers mod. Now, as far as I know, this mod is relatively new, which is why I hadn't really heard of it up until recently when I saw a video about it, but it looked awesome. It looks like it's got a lot of really cool content that we can mess around with. You can see there's a fair bit of stuff in here. Don't be weirded out by how these things all look. A lot of them are technically, I guess, machines. They're not really machines. It's kind of like a mix of like machines and Thaumcraft, I would say. It's interesting. It's hard to explain, but it's really darn awesome. So we're going to be messing around with this today, and pretty excited to do that. There's a lot we're going to take care of and hopefully get through, but be warned, I don't know a ton about this mod, so we're going to be working through it together today, hopefully having some fun. Now, a couple things that I want to talk about before we jump into all this exciting stuff is going to be the base. You may notice changes or a lack thereof, and that is because I went to make some changes to this. I went to do some work off camera after last episode, and I didn't make it really far. I was pretty indecisive about a lot of stuff, so I added the trim on. I kind of messed around with that, started thinking of placements for the oak wood to kind of bring up the next level, but I wasn't really sure how I wanted the roof to be, so I didn't really know how I wanted to kind of connect the two. I don't know, it was confusing stuff, but some of the changes I did make, obviously I moved the farmer inside, and we now have our oil, canola oil generation going on in there, so that's all good. Started putting the windows on. I could finish them right now, but I was just getting ready for today's episode, so haven't really gotten around to that yet. But the big change, and the one that I was kind of annoyed about, not really annoyed, but it would have made last episode a lot better, is right here, this chiseled cobblestone. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but from what I remember, when we first set this up, the chisel was in the pack, but the recipe was messed up and we couldn't get it. Now, they did fix that. I now have the chisel, but unfortunately, when we first set it up and we're using cobblestone or regular stone, we did not have the chisel available to us unless someone came and gave it to us, which they offered to, but I said I'd just wait until the recipe was fixed. So we now have chiseled blocks in here. I went through and I think it makes it look a lot better. It adds a little bit of depth to it. A lot of the chiseled blocks kind of have a little bit more depth, or a little bit more interesting. This one pretty much sticks to the same idea of having a more rough texture here, where the cobblestone was, and where the stone is still a relatively smooth one, but it's different enough that it's still mixing things up. So I think it looks a lot nicer like this. You can get the full effect right at the front here. You can see the glass, stone frame, chiseled glass. I think it looks nice. And yeah, so pretty happy with how things are turning out. A lot of you guys seem to like it. There were a couple people that were like, oh my gosh, that looks disgusting. Well, you know what? Maybe it does. You know, I really don't know. Who can say what disgusting is? But we're going to jump into the fun stuff now, and by that I mean crafting. There actually is not a ton of crafting to do, don't worry, but as you can see in here, I've done a fair bit of resource gathering, so we should be good for today. I think we're going to need some iron, we're going to need some copper, and the main thing we're going to start out with is using clay and sand. So the reason we're going to use this, and I also forgot we're going to need lead too, we're just going to grab out a bunch of stuff. Lead, oak wood. Actually, we'll grab out the oak wood planks because we're going to need those. Okay, now we should be good. So the reason that we got to do a lot of crafting for this is because we're going to be working through a fair bit of it today. A couple different machines, I should say with air quotes, a couple different apparatus that we're going to be working with. So we need to do the Ember bore. So we can go over here, search it up. The Ember bore is going to allow us to get essentially Ember shards, and you basically use this as sort of like an Ember quarry down at bedrock in Ember rich chunks, and that's going to get us these Ember shards, which we will then use in other apparatus to turn them into essentially power, I guess, and send that off to other things that will use that in turn to cook stuff down and do whatever they want with it. I don't actually know what we can get into with this mod fully, but it looks really cool. So that's all that's important right now, is that it looks awesome. That's the bottom line. We're making it to the cool stuff, and yes, we will achieve that, and we will be awesome. So we have to make the Ember bore, and the expensive part of this is going to be the mechanical core, but everything else is pretty cheap. Slightly annoying to make these Caminite bricks though, because we need this, which means we need the blend, which means we need clay and sand. So we're going to make a bunch of that right now. I really don't need this for anything else. So that should have been a shift click. There we go. So now we got a lot of it. We can toss that in here to cook it. And we do need to throw, you know what, I'm going to take some of this wood and throw it in there because we do need coal for the Ember boar. It is going to use coal. I think it's relatively a 1-to-1 exchange rate, essentially, on coal to Ember shards. So just want to make sure I have enough of that. But we're going to cook this down. It looks like it's relatively fast, which is good. And we can start crafting on the other stuff. So we need 2 mechanical cores. One for the crafting here, one for setting up what we are going to kind of do with it in the future. So we're going to make 2 of these, which requires the expensive part, the lead plate. Now, you probably don't think this is super expensive. If we look at the recipe, it's just lead ingots, tinker's hammer, but lead's actually relatively hard to come by. I have more diamonds than I have lead right now, and that's with doing the 2 times processing on the lead and just getting 1 diamond from each one that I mine. So that should give you a good idea of why it's such a pain in the butt. And ooh, yeah, so this is one of the things we're going to do with it eventually. We're going to do stamping. But yeah, so we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We need the tinker's hammer, which of course is more lead, and I'm missing sticks. So we can get those out here. And we're going to need this for other stuff too, so don't worry, it's not just for doing this, but we need the tinker's hammer, and then we are going to be making 2 lead plates. So there we go, 1 and 2. Does it have a durability? Oh, that's great. It doesn't. That's awesome. So go back to this, and we're going to need 2 compasses. So I don't know the last time I actually made a compass, just because some crafting recipes need it, but not all of them, not a lot. So there we go. We're going to grab 2 out, and there we go. So we'll make 2 mechanical cores, and it's just occurring to me we're actually going to need another compass eventually, but not just yet. So now we need the brick stairs, and we only need to turn 1 of these into that, so we should have enough right here. It looks like we're running a little bit low on power. That's why one of the sides was a little bit more done than the other one, but we'll make, yeah, I might as well just make all of them, and that should give us more than enough right there. And we should be able to craft it now. Awesome. So we've got the Ember boar. Got to make sure I only pull 1 of them out because we want to have all the other stuff. Ooh, we should just start using these blocks. I don't know why I don't. But yeah, so we want to have 1 of those mechanical cores, 1 Ember boar, because this is going to sit on top of it and allow us to pump things in and pull things out. Now I should have, do I have a chest over here? I feel like I did have one before, but I don't know if I do now. This can make a chest, right? Even though it's different planks. Yeah, so we got to get our chest, and we are going to then make a hopper. Now, I don't know why the crafting grid is lagging. I assume it has to do with what's going on with either JEI. I think it's JEI over here, but it's lagging a little bit. I apologize if you guys noticed that. It's a little bit weird, but we've got our hopper because we're going to be pumping stuff in here, and I believe we can use a hopper for that. And then we are going to be making one other thing to pull stuff out, and we actually need to, it should be under item. I believe it is the item extractor. I think it used to be called the item pump, but now it's the item extractor. This should allow us to pull stuff out, and it's going to need a Caminite plate, and then redstone and an item pump. Oh my gosh, this needs more lead. Ooh. Oh my gosh, we don't have enough lead. I didn't realize that we need that, but we do. We're going to need that for the setup to pull it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you know what? Then I'm going to have to go off camera, and I'm going to have to go find some lead because we only have 3, and it's looking like we're going to need 5. So, yeah, I will be back in a little bit, and we can finish up this crafting and hopefully go and get some Ember shards. Okay, guys, so we should have everything we need now to finish the crafting. There were a couple other things that I needed to get, not just finishing off with the iron, or the lead, I should say, but I did get that. Turns out I only needed 1 piece because we're going to get 2 ingots from this. Luckily, when I went down into my mine shaft, there was 1 unmined thing of lead ore, so luckily we're going to have just enough. I'm really, really hoping that the other stuff we need to craft does not require this. If not, you know what? We'll move it till next episode, but we should be good now, and it looks like it's nighttime. A little bit worried. You know, we're still sitting on 0 deaths right there. Only one on right now with 0 deaths. Keeping it, we're going strong, but you know what, it's kind of like, this is reminding me of that SpongeBob episode where they have the 24/7 Krusty Krab, and don't judge me, yeah, I'm 20 and I watched SpongeBob like all my life, you know, the old episodes are the greatest, I'd watch them again right now if I could, but it's kind of like, you know, like Rage plays games at night. You know, he was kind of snapping. Rage plays games at night, you know? Usually I don't actually play when it's nighttime, and right now I can't sleep. So, you know, we'll just kind of go with it. Oh my god, wait, why did I think that would work? Okay, get your laughs in now. Laugh at the engineering student who doesn't know how to count. Haha, he thought he needed 5 pieces when he really needed 6. Well, joke's on you guys, because I went to find more, and I got 6 pieces. So now, we're basically set. We never have to go mining again. Yeah, that was a little bit sad, but you know what? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So we're coming out this end just a little bit tougher than the last. But we're good to go with this. I should probably put a torch down. It's a little bit dark over here. We'll finish this up. And then it won't even matter that it's nighttime because we get to head back underground and pretty much work there for the rest of the episode. So, finish off with that. We will get the extractor. That's going to put them in a chest for us. And then there's a couple other things that we can craft if we really want to. None of them are necessities. It looks like we're about to be ambushed. There we go. Oh, don't even try and hit me. Okay, there we go. We're good. We're good. What is this? Ability totem. Oh, that's, yeah, we got another one coming. That's like something, the reason that you could see him highlighted was thanks to this ability bottle. I paid some XP, I guess, to get an ability which allows them to get like highlighted when they're near me. I don't know, it was weird, but it's not super useful. But if you were curious, that is what it is. Ooh, that's a witch. Okay, that's something I don't want to deal with, but right now we got to get back to that item thing. So here we go, item extractor. So it's redstone and a plate for these, so it should be like, I thought it would be like that. Is it bricks turned into that plate? Oh my gosh, that scared me so bad. Okay. Okay. Plate from the raw plate, from the blend. Wait, what makes the blend? Wait, what? So, we don't need the bricks all the time? Oh, please tell me we have more. Oh, please tell me I didn't just use up all of my stuff making this. No. No. Where's the clay? Oh, where's the clay? Okay, now, right now, we've got all the resources. We're good to go. The final statement. I'm locking in my answer. We are good to go right now on resources. Give me this redstone. I want to be done with crafting this. I want to set this up. I want to get my Ember shards right now. I need them so that I feel like less of an idiot for not setting stuff up correctly. Okay, then the last piece, we're going to need some levers. We got to turn that on. Okay, so this should be good to set up the bore. Now, we can do the rest of the crafting right now if we really want to, but we don't need to. The next piece, and there's only one piece left after this really, where we're going to put the shards in, and we're not going to really use it for anything this episode, so it's not super important, but let me see if I can scroll through here and find it, because I can't even remember the name. It's like an Ember reactor sort of thing, thingamajigger. It should be, if we just search up Ember, it should be one of these. Oh, the Ember activator. So this is it. So it takes copper, a furnace, and then iron plates. So that one is not bad at all. It's going to take 2 iron plates. So we fill this up and make our iron plates. We've got our copper, and the last piece is going to be the furnace. So that'll go there, those 2 there, and then copper along the top. And we've got our Ember activator. So eventually this is what's going to allow us to kind of turn, I assume, the solid embers, as you can see right here, the Ember shard, crystal, and clusters, into sort of like an actual power source. We've been ambushed. Okay. Well, it's going to allow us to turn those into an actual power source and kind of like pump that, or it's almost like Essentia. We're going to transfer that kind of wirelessly between things. And it's going to be like the power source that allows us to melt stuff down. I guess more like a heat source in that case. But yeah, hopefully you guys get the general gist of it. But now we need to, I guess there's one last thing, and you don't actually even, I guess, really need this, but you can use it, and that's going to be right here in the front, the atmospheric gauge. And this is going to tell you chunk by chunk the ember density there. And of course, the more dense the embers are in that chunk, the more you're going to get from actually using your machine. And from what I recall, there in previous updates, and I don't know if it's the same now, there was a finite amount per chunk, but a lot has changed from the videos that I saw, so I'm not positive. Now, if we open this, this actually isn't as bad as I expected it to be, but we need to be at bedrock anyway. So what I'm going to do, and this, like I said, is chunk by chunk, we're going to head down into the mine right now, somewhere that we already are at bedrock, and see what is going on there. So the place that I usually come to mine is this fancy cave that we're going to run into over here. We should run into it. Don't fall in the lava. Don't fall in the lava. It should be over here, I think. Right? Right? No, I went the wrong way. Well, this is definitely high enough in terms of the Ember levels right now to hook it up, so it looks like we will be able to set that up relatively close to the base. My biggest worry was that we weren't going to be able to set it up close enough and we'd have to walk really far. But, okay, where am I thinking of? I've literally gone there every other time I've come in this mine, and for some reason this one time I did not go in there. Where is it? I'm flip-flopping all over the place. I thought it was up here. Is it up higher? There's some entrance to a cave somewhere. Okay, it must be lower. I could have sworn it was right here. I could have sworn I jump up here. I come down. Do I turn? Oh, I turn over here. This is what it is. So it's this cave right here. I assume this is a quark cave because it's got all these different quark crystals in here. But I know it's not fully mined out. There's a lot left to mine down here. But we will be down here a lot. It's a little bit dangerous. There's a lot of lava, but a lot of emeralds, which is great. And there's bedrock. So this is where we're going to be setting it up. We'll put it right here. It needs a little bit of an area cleared out. I think it's going to be a 3x3. So we'll do it right here. And we set down the ember bore first. So there we go. It's pretty big, pretty large. So let's mine down so we can actually see it. So you can see it's kind of got like some things that'll rotate down here. Don't really know what you'd call them, but they're things that will rotate and sort of grind into the earth. So let's clear that out just so we can see the cool animations on this. It does indicate when it's going. And we can't even click on it, which is why we need all this different stuff to pump things in there. So I think you could use this as an input or an output, but it'd only be one. But what this mechanical core allows us to do is kind of treat it like multiple. So I think this would put it at 5 total now. We're not going to need that many, but we have the option if we want to. Then we need the item extractor, which should go over here. I think this is the right one. Then we can put the chest right up here, and that should pull the items out, and then we can just hook up an item pipe. And we need a lever for this, so we'll flip that on, and it should pull stuff out. Now, you could pump from a chest in, but I see no point. You might as well just use a hopper. Can't imagine you're going to need more coal than that. But we throw that in there, and it starts to fill it up. And we should get out eventually some embers. You can see it's spinning down there, and I'm waiting to see the first one come out. I want to make sure that we hook this thing up right. It is spinning. There is ember in this area. Oh, there we go. We got an ember crystal. So is that one even? I've seen a lot of people get ember shards on their first one. So I assume you can still get those, but maybe we're doing pretty good. So you can see it drops the coal in. I assume it's not consuming all of that right away. Yeah, so we got another ember shard. Guess you can't really see the internal storage, but if we really needed to, there's a ton of coal down here that we can mine. So now we are getting these out, and this is what we are going to be putting in to the ember activator. We can load this chunk now. I think there's a trick to loading it. I've never done this before, but we can go to the team GUI, and there's all these different teams for everyone, I assume, because these are all the guys on the server. You can see there's a fair bit of them, but we're going to create a new team. Rage plays games. What color do we want? What color? What color? Let's go red. Nice. Team Rage plays games created. Nice. Nice. Now we can go to claim chunks, and we're in this chunk, so let's get like right on top of this puppy right here. I want to see what chunk we're in, and we're going to claim it because we want this thing running 24/7. So it looks like we are in this chunk right here. Explosions disabled. Interesting. How do you know if it's loaded? How do you shift? Is it shift? How do you load this? Close, refresh, unclaim all chunks. Okay, there's got to be some way to claim this and load it. I feel like an idiot right now. Claimed area, but it's not a loaded chunk. Someone teach me the secrets. You know what? Let's just ask in chat. How do you claim a chunk and load it? Okay, here we go. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. It says we can load 50, and we want this to be loaded because eventually we don't want to have to come down here. We're gonna pump this stuff back to the base, and I want it running 24/7. Ooh, there's some people around us with claim chunks. We can claim it at the least, but then we need to load it, assuming we can load it. Map and inventory upper left. Yeah, so I can claim a chunk. I don't know how to set it to load. Okay, well, hopefully someone can answer our questions. I'm sure. Oh, control click. Okay. Oh. Yes. Wait, that's not it. Okay, you know what? I give up. You guys tell me it doesn't need to be loaded now. We've spent a minute on it. We've tried. We've phoned a friend. Nothing is working. Clearly, I'm inept. But we've got some good shards in here now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 of these shards. We're not going to take a crystal. We're going to leave that in there because we want to brag. But this thing's running down here. It's going. And we're going to head back. We're going to juke the lava and head back to the base. Set up the rest of this stuff. See how cool it looks. And I think we're going to call it a day then. A lot of different cuts in this video, unfortunately, because of my inability to prep for an episode. I really need to get a storage system going, like refined storage or something. It'll be a lot easier to craft and tell what I've got then. But that'll be coming in the future, you know. I want to get this stuff set up first. Maybe this has a storage system. I highly doubt it. Ooh, there's some lag. That's some good stuff. But, ooh, okay, you know what? While we're going back upstairs, I have something to talk about that I was just informed of today. While I was at work, actually. While I was, you know, busy typing away, get a notification on my phone from someone that said in the comments, "Hey, Rage, someone's re-uploading your videos." And I never thought that I would have to deal with that. We're actually going to make a hopper because we kind of need that for this. But I never thought I would have to deal with that, really. I thought, you know, people did that with bigger YouTubers, but it's not even really common with bigger YouTubers. So why would someone do it to me? You know, I don't know. But someone literally like a week ago took all of my videos, like hundreds of them, Surviving With series, and they re-uploaded them under the same exact name, videos that had my old intro on them with, you know, Dr. Ragehard. They uploaded those. It bewildered me as to how they thought that people who would watch them wouldn't realize. Same description, title, literally word for word. So they did that. I filed copyright claims against them, reported their channel. Hopefully that gets taken down, but I just want to say to the people that have, you know, informed me of stuff like this, thank you so much. I would not have known if it weren't for you guys. And it's just, it's weird, you know? Okay, so we're going to put this down in a corner right over here. So we place it down. I think these are pretty cool because they kind of come up like multi-block structures, even though they're a single block. But here we go. So we got the Ember activator. Looks pretty cool. Looks kind of like a furnace and some like pumps or bellows. I don't know. But what we can do now is take our hopper and we're going to pump it in the bottom like so. And we're going to throw some Ember shards in there. Now this might be a waste. I don't know if it stores it internally, but you can see it kind of comes to life. It's like a torch, you know? You got some cool particle effects, and that is what we want. That is like the Ember essence, essentially. I don't know the exact name, but this is activating the Embers. It's getting them. It's getting the juices flowing, and then we're gonna pump out of here and into whatever machines we're gonna actually use. So all the different stuff in here that we can look at. Next time we're gonna melt stuff down in one of these. It is the melter, I believe, and then we're gonna use the stamp base and the stamper to stamp out, you know, turn melted stuff. It's kind of like the Tinker Smeltery, but for this mod. And then we'll move into some other cool stuff, hopefully. I don't really know what a ton of this does, but we will figure it out, have some fun with it, and hopefully things will look awesome along the way. So that is going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to give it a like, as it does help me out a lot. And I will talk to you guys later.